Okay, so I'm at a point where I don't know which way I'm going to go with this gun. Right? I keep shopping for barrels now. I've kind of got optics kind of figured out sort of what I'm going to do, at least for now, and where I'm going to go, I think. And the question becomes, are we building a ghetto SPR or are we building a ghetto AR-15 RPK? Those are two very different things, and they would be different barrels, basically. They'd be different optics, basically. They both have longer barrels and bipods and scopes and shit, so it's kind of. This is how we arrived at this decision, basically. I'm shopping right now on Ballistic Advantage's website. They, man, they sell a lot of the barrels I'd like, basically. For what I'm doing, they are cost effective, they shoot good, and, well, hear me out. There's, what, three barrels there that I'd be interested in. The first one is the 20-inch M16A2 barrel that honestly is old reliable. Upgraded with their modern fucking nitriding process as opposed to being, chrome lined or whatever. I don't know which way is the right way to go on that shit. Nitriding's way fucking cheaper and more accurate. So I'm going to go with nitriding from now on pretty much. I think both of my guns right now have phosphate barrels on them, but that's going to change basically. Loki is just a standard fucking like Palmetto State upper. If I optimize this gun like this to be a long ranger of some sort, and it's super fucking heavy, Loki's probably going to get some upgrades too. Because I was kind of thinking of this being like an overall all-arounder kind of gun, and I guess that's more the SPR. And the SPR barrel, oddly enough, from Ballistic Advantage, is not the barrel I would pick for building an SPR. That is the AR-15 RPK barrel. It is heavy as fuck. That's what I would buy to do that with. And the thing I like about ordering it from Ballistic Advantage is you can get your gas block pinned on from them for $40. That's the price of the gas block and the pinning service. That's worth that. It just is. So if you're going to do the RPK, I would get the SPR barrel, oddly enough. I know that doesn't make sense, but for the SPR, either the 20-inch M16A2 or the 18-inch, or actually it's 17.7 Hansen profile barrel. That's a very interesting barrel. It's lighter than any of these barrels. It's the most 17.7 inches, whatever, and I would rather have it be 20 because I am willing to put up with a 20-inch barrel. I'll take it for all its ills and whatever, and this is why we're probably going to go back to the M16A2 barrel. But it's fun to flirt with the idea of the Hansen, right? It would save us like 4 ounces over the M16A2. It might shoot better, but at the same time, it's going to lose velocity. And I am not shooting some crazy, match ammo. I'm shooting 55 grain. I need the fucking 20 inches. That's my contention to you. And I don't know. The Hansen would probably do most of what we need. It would. But I think you're missing out by not having the full 20 inches. So it's kind of like if you're going to do AR-15 RPK, the SPR barrel at 41 ounces is heavy as fuck. Might go with that for that. But that would be the only time I would go with that barrel. For the SPRs, The M16A2 barrel is 35 ounces and the Hansen is 31 ounces. So it's not that big of a difference. And I think with me doing the 55 grain shit, I'm still going to go 20. I don't know. That Hansen barrel is awful tempting because it's the way, really. Like, that as a 20-inch barrel is the way. Maybe I could fucking call Ballistic Advantage and get a custom 20-inch version or something. I don't know if they do that shit. I don't know why you would want that as a 17.7, to be honest. I'm sure it has to do with barrel harmonics and using 77 grain match ammo. I'm not going to do that. So, this is, yeah, sorry. Unless, like, the U.S. Army standardizes on fucking 77 grain match ammo, I'm not building my shit to shoot it. For now, I like 1-7 or 1-8 twist because we don't really know what the Army's going to do, and whatever they're going to do is going to be able to be shot out of a 1-7 because of reasons. 1-8 gives you, most of what the 1-7 does, really, and gives you better low-end performance and shit. So, like, for shooting 55 grain, 1-8 is probably better. All of this shit is stuff that I'm taking into account while building my weapons. And this is why you should build your AR-15s and not buy them. You can go find someone with a barrel wrench to put a fucking barrel on a fucking rifle. That's easy to do. That's what I intend to do for this. It has a Bear Creek upper on it, and it's all Bear Creek right now. And I'm going to basically throw away all of the internal parts and replace it with this Ballistic Advantage. It's going to be a barrel, gas tube, and gas block. And then I'm going to figure out a bolt carrier. I don't know where I'm going to do that yet. My buddy has a Palmetto State that I'm supposed to buy, but I might upgrade more, and if I do that, he'll be okay hanging on to that. I don't know. It's one of those, the What Would Stoner Do bolt carrier group is probably the right one, right? I don't know how much that costs. If you're going to go with anything other than like a phosphated Palmetto State Armory, like, I would look at the What Would Stoner Do one hard. I was planning on just getting a phosphated Palmetto State Armory because basically I know that thing works. And the bolt carrier is kind of the heart and soul of the gun other than the barrel. The buffer, I'm going to order some shit from BCM, and I'm going to get a H1 buffer and carbine spring, and that's what I'm going to do. Hope it's, JP thing, the JP spring would be cool. I've had those before. They are good. I just, I don't think they're worth the squeeze, really. Trigger wise, I keep going back to the ALG ACT. I think that's the right mix of, hey, we need a better trigger / don't spend too much money. I guess the LaRue MBT2 might be a good call too. With the thing that this rifle's kind of built for is, like, I guess it's an SPR. Yeah, it's not really an RPK. This is where we're going to end up going with the Hansen profile or the M16A2, definitely. The M16A2 I view as being flexible and is 20 inches. It's a little bit heavier profile of a barrel in some ways, but in others it's like it's all jacked up. It's got all its weight in the front and has a big, like, weak spot in the middle. I'd almost rather have the Hansen profile barrel that eliminates all that bullshit, but I want the 20. So, fuck, I don't know. Seems that nobody makes the barrel that I want. So I'm going to end up with a fucking M16A2 barrel. Or I can join the future and do the SPR barrel and just enjoy shooting 55 grain ammo out of it. I don't know. This is the kind of calculus I'm doing on my barrel selection for this thing. And it bounces around a lot. I do not plan to buy a barrel for probably a month or two. We're building this rifle slowly as we have money. And I just spent $170 basically on shit from Midway to piggyback a red dot and put a bipod on it and get a dust cover on it and some other shit. Like, because I did that, I have to buy a red dot for my other rifle next. And then we're going to go back to upgrading this thing. And, like, I think this Ballistic Advantage barrel is what I'm going to do. Especially now that I know that I can just order all of it in one stop and get all of the parts to do the barrel upgrade, basically. And get them all for about $180, $200, something like that. This is the plan, basically. And it's going to lower the price of our BCM order by like $35, which makes that easier to do. This is where, like, you know, a $100 order, it's not that hard to do. A $200 order, I start having to, like, figure out where that money's coming from. You know, to just do it in a week and not, like, you know, dedicate a whole month to fucking saving up to some order from fucking BCM. Should be dope. I think next week, whenever it is, I'm gonna fucking order a red dot or a light. I have not really decided yet which, but I have so many of those that I need to order now just for my own personal guns. Like, I need 2 flashlights and a red dot, and the flashlights are $106 each, and the red dot's $120. And that's going to take some priorities, I think. At least the red dot is, and getting one of the flashlights to play with is. And then we're going to go back to fucking putting parts on this thing for a while. And this is half of it, is that the flashlight I'm buying is for this gun. So we'll do that, and that'll give us a chance to play around with it on Loki and see if we want one for Loki or not. And buying the red dot for Loki is kind of the same thing, because, like, we're getting to play with that and see, basically, do we want to fucking make that SIG red dot the red dot across all rifles? I doubt I'm going to, like, sell my Holosun 403Rs, but if it is $120 and takes AAA batteries and better and not much more weight, you're going to see me buy one of those to put on everything rapidly. You know, it's one of those, like, rapid changes in fucking tech like that are affordable. That's shit we have to take advantage of. I'm also, you know, slowly buying parts to upgrade my rifle. Got a M16A2 flash hider in the other room. I have a crush washer on the way. I have an Accu wedge on the way. Get the buffer and buffer spring from BCM, probably the trigger from BCM, and get all the fucking 4-inch shit from Ballistic Advantage. And I'm glad I'm doing these guns now, because I honestly feel that we're not going to be able to do this via the internet here very soon. That's half of why this is a prep in my mind. This is a prep because half of this shit's made in China, and the other half of it is stuff they're going to control here hardcore in the very near future, I think. At least if the Democrats get their way. You know, maybe things turn back, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. I think I'm going to get the M16A2 barrel. I like the 20-inch still, and, like, This is kind of like meant to be a modified M16. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you go with a Hansen barrel or the M16A2 profile barrel from Ballistic Advantage? They're basically the same price. Like I said, if you're going to do the RPK thing, I think I would get the SPR barrel, oddly enough. It's fat as fuck. It's like a baseball bat made of steel underneath your fucking handguard. I don't really want to add too much weight to this thing. It's already kind of heavy in my opinion, and like a lot of people would be like, "Well, that's normal." Yeah, it's normal. And I'd like it to stay normal. You know, while bolting a bunch of shit to it. And that's where the Hansen shaves another 5 ounces off the barrel. That's worth something. But it doesn't make up for the lack of velocity, and it doesn't make up for it not being an M16. No. It'll be an SPR then. Like, I don't know. It would be cool to make this thing an SPR, but I think the SPRs should have been 20-inch guns. You never know what kind of ammo you're going to be running, really. Like, you can build it for a thing, but why would you build something to only run one type of ammunition? Like, I build my shit to run 55 grain because that's what I intend to shoot most of the time. However, if I found myself shooting 62 grain or 77 grain, I would basically have to adjust my zero. My gun will shoot any of it. I buy shit that will flex. You should do that too. That's why the 1-in-7 and 1-in-8 twist barrels. And basically the whole industry has gotten on board with that now. Now nobody makes a 1-in-9. Which is, thank God. I don't know why anyone ever did that shit. The 1-in-12s that Brownells makes for retro shit, I actually bought one of those. It's an interesting thing. Anywho, hope this helps you in your own builds. That's kind of the point of this show, is I figure I'm, sitting here smoking and meditating and cowboy philosophizing and building rifles. I might as well fucking talk to you guys on the phone. Otherwise, all of this is kind of a waste to some extent. Just for me. I wish I could just have like Blazer and my uncles and my nephew Leighton just all kind of bouncing in and out of this all the time. I try to, include them in some of this when I do, because like I'm readying myself to be able to fucking get them ready, I guess. It's like, at least one of my uncles is going to be physically capable, and that's good. The other one thinks he is and isn't. That's not so good. Then we got, Leighton and his cousin that is never here. And myself. And like in this equation, it's why, like, why do you train so hard about this shit? It's that. It's that basically the only fucking people I have to fight with, other than possibly Blazer and another fucking shooting buddy I know, is an old man, a really old man, and a couple of young kids. That's it. So, in that equation, like Blazer, myself, my other shooting buddy, like, if any of those other people get here, I'm very excited to see them. Because basically, while I'm very capable, I'm not you know, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger or some shit. I can shoot a rifle real fucking good. And I can sneak around a lot. Okay? That's not, you know, the biggest strong suit in the world. But basically, if you're on your own, that's the way you gotta be. If you're gonna be any other way, you're just gonna get dead. I keep thinking about Last of the Mohicans and really like the Kentucky like long hunters in general. Ever since Kossoff mentioned that he wants his shit to be a little bit like a frontiersman modified. Like if you look at like Hawkeye in that fucking movie, he's living off of his rifle and basically running everywhere he goes. You know, you wonder why those people kicked ass. That's why they didn't need training. They lived it. I'll leave you on that note. I'll see you guys.